I would like to show you this book because it's a biography dedicated to Yuri Razuavev. I'm sorry if I pronounce it well, but the funny thing is this. I knew this player, also if I never saw a picture of him. I knew him because he wrote a great book, a book that I have in Italian. As you can see, of course, in Italian we change a little the letters from the Y, we use the J for his name, but the name is the same, right? Razuvaev. And he wrote this beautiful little book about Rubinstein. And I know that many grandmasters, Russian grandmasters, study this because this was luckily maybe the only book they could own, because books were expensive or they disappeared from the market in the time it was under the Soviet Union, and they really cherish this book. So up to now I never connected Razuvaev to a very strong player because I'm sorry, I didn't know about him. I didn't know anything about him. So I'm happy that they have made this biography. The game I want to show you, it's a beautiful game he played against Polugaevsky, that was one of the top players in the 70s, candidate to the World Championship, and so someone really strong, and he loses in miniature style, which means less than 25 moves. Okay, so this game was played with Razuvaev as white and Polugaevsky as black. It was played in Moscow in 1985. Remember that 1985 is the famous match between Karpov and Kasparov. Now, I use the word biography, but it's not totally correct, because there is a chapter of selected games, but this is not a biography like a biographer made. This is also articles from people who knew him, his articles, so it's a great book because it collects his writings and let us know him also through the eyes of the other players. In this case, there is the notes are by Adrian Michalchishin, that is one of the top senior FIDE trainer, and here it says, can a great player lose a miniature? Of course. One only needs to recall the famous game Larsen-Spassky from the match of the century in 1970. Usually this happens when he sees serious difficulties in the opening against an uncomfortable opponent and decides to go into paths unfamiliar to both players. Here terrible disasters can occur, but this once again emphasizes the mystery and uncertainty of chess. Yes, between human beings it's everything uncertain. In such a defeat there is nothing humiliating. The element of risk in chess is quite serious, and without the risk you don't gain fourth place. But here, Polugaevsky's main mistake was that he walked into one of Razuvaev's favorite opening variations. There are no longer fourth line here, but there are a lot of positions for which you need to have a feel and great experience. Now notice that Polugaevsky was a good theoretical opening guy, It was not a joke. And in this respect, Polugaevsky was clearly weaker than Razuvaev. I think he reproached himself after the game, like many luminaries in similar situations, wondered, why did I go into this line? But again, Polugaevsky was a chess player, a professional top chess player all of his life. He wasn't someone who, like us, that play tournaments on Saturday and Sunday. So imagine that. Okay, the game starts with c4. Razuvaev also knew very well what to do as black against the English. The following game is characteristic, and here there is another game that is quoted, played by Polugaevsky in Helsinki in 1984, but I am not going to show it to you, because it's not all the game, but only up to move 17, where black is better is given as evaluation. c5. Okay, c5 is very interesting. I have just shown a game by Karpov that was black on c5, and Karpov won in miniature style practically. Knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, e6. And here there is another game that is quoted because another game that Razuvaev was white was continued with queen b6, and he was prepared obviously also for that. g3, bishop c5, knight b3, bishop b4, and bishop g2. And here there is a diagram, okay? Generally they should put a diagram to make you think what black should do, okay? So we are at move 8. It seems that 8b6 does not equalize, so it doesn't tell us what equalize. So Polugajski played d5, which makes sense, right? He wants to open probably the lines for this bishop. C takes d5, knight takes d5, and castle. Surprising, white enters an endgame a pawn down. This method in the Kafalan was invented by Yuri Sergeyevich and widely used. One of the authors of the method of positional pawn sacrifices in the opening, Oleg Romanishin, later used Razuvaev's idea and turned it into a dangerous weapon. Knight takes c3, b takes c3, queen takes d1, rook takes d1, bishop takes c3, rook b1, castle, and knight c5. White is a pawn down, but for his humble pawn he has obtained open lines and a lead in development. The pressure on the b7 pawn outstrips everything. e5. In my opinion, other moves also fail to guarantee equality. For example, knight d8 or rook d8. Bishop f3, bishop f5, rook takes b7, knight a5. So it seems that knight d4 was bad because of e3, okay? So knight a5, rook c7, because this attacked the rook, but now he's attacking this, rook a c8, and now there is a good move by white, that is knight a6. Black at this point blunders. What do you think is the blunder? If you were black, what would you play now? It seems the right move was rook f e8, but black played rook f d8. Rook f d8. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, this move. Because rook takes d8, rook takes d8, and obviously, boom, this is Ghana. And the great Lev Polugajski resigned. I do not recall him losing another such miniature. Maybe this can be unfamiliar territory, but I mean, that was kind of bad. Maybe he was distracted, he had a blood sugar problem, some kind of problem, because he lost an entire piece. As always, I don't watch the games before showing to you in a video, because I want to be honest with my reactions and everything, and it couldn't be honest if I already saw it and I had an opinion about it. So In case you are interested, there are here also some articles written by Razuvaev about old ancient players with their games, so it's worth to watch it also just for that. So this is a compilation more than a biography, but it gives you the sense of biography because you practically discover everything about this player that is not with us anymore. I hope you will enjoy it.